Hello, William. Hey, Tom, good to see you both. Thanks for being in with us early tonight. Should be a fun topic, and got a lot of folks battling COVID stuff and all kinds of work-life balance things, which is probably a par for the course when you're talking about teaching next gen about D&D, but it's a topic near and dear to my heart, so I'm so excited to do this tonight. Evelyn should be with us, but I don't have her on just yet, and I know she and her family have been struggling with COVID, so we'll just see if they actually make it on tonight. But it's so good to have all of you joining us early on. Oh, there she comes, of course, so consistent. Hey, Patrick, good evening, my friend. Hello, Evelyn. You are heard, not seen. Evelyn, would you like to duck out tonight? It's fine if you want to. I can see you got a lot going on. I know you're struggling. You're ill. Your daughter's ill. If you'd prefer to bounce off tonight, I'm fine with that. You sure?
I'm good.
You sure? Okay. Okay. So, hey, good to see you, Scott. Welcome as well. I got so many folks popping in here already. Good to have you with us. Should be a fun topic tonight, but all of us have our own battles right now. There's a lot of illness going around. Many have family issues struggling with. I've seen this so much in the last week. I've got close friends. And so this comes back to the reason I love this game. It's escapism. It's a place to get away. And to really allow yourself to just enjoy having fun with friends, playing. A little Mountain Dew and Dorito can fix anything. Evelyn, I'm going to kick this off live for video in a moment. Do you want to go ahead and be ready for any of the OBS Ninja stuff? Do you want to show?
Yeah, let me pull that up really quick because I have the links for that.
Yeah, so whenever you're ready, I'll pre-test it, and we'll kick off. So excited about Virtual Greyhawk Con coming up. GaryCon planning for next year. Had a great talk today with Jay, Lord Gazumba. Really enjoyed playing in the one-shot with Tim. Tim was fun as a DM. Especially when he, mistakenly challenged me about the fire pit, and I got to kind of hit him back a little bit. Feed me 22508. Yes, hot tea with honey is always good. Hello, Amanda. Robert, as always.
Sure.
Enjoyed our talk today, Robert. Thank you.
Make sure it's set on the correct setting.
All right, so while you're testing that, I'm going to skip over and check it.
Screen to share. This window. We'll do this.
No, you're not lying, Feed Me, although I don't think Evelyn and her family have experienced COVID. They tested negative. Am I right, Evelyn?
Yep, that's correct. Yeah, negative.
Yeah, but I have had COVID. My whole family had it at Christmas last year, 2020 Christmas. It was awful.
I just dropped it in Discord for you there, John.
Okay, all right. Let me pull that up.
Pull that.
That's not the right link. Hang on, let me try again.
Yep.
There we go. I think that's it. And
okay, I can hear you, but your screen capture in Zoom is frozen.
My screen. What? Really?
Yeah, you
Well-
are making the same face that you were a moment ago.
Well, no, I mean, I'm watching it on my own Zoom. I'm watching it on my slot. It's got to be on your end,
Yeah.
Evelyn.
It is.
Hey, Jay, good to see you as well.
I have
All
an
right.
idea. Sometimes it's that fixed it.
All right, here we go. And we kick off. Boom. And we have session number 40 something and crazy. Good to have all of you with us tonight. Loremaster's Arcanum is live. And let me close this off. So, welcome, Evelyn. I know you've had a crazy week, family illness, and all kinds of nastiness, but it's so good to have you with us as always tonight. And we're going to talk about a subject that is near and dear to my heart, which is teaching the next generation, whether that be your 7-year-old son or daughter or your 27-year-old Gen Z / millennial edge friend who's only played 5e, about Dungeons and Dragons, topic near and dear to my heart. We got a lot of folks already in with us tonight. Thank you so much. You can hear us good. I made some switches on Zoom. I think it was echo cancellation that was causing the problem in Zoom. So, Evelyn, you're going to have to tell me tonight if you ever hear me drop out, because I think I fixed it. And if I'm wrong...
Okay, awesome.
Does that sound good right now?
Yeah, you sound great.
All right, great. Sound great? Good.
You sound great.
I look great, too. And you look great. We look great.
Yeah,
all right.
thanks.
All right. So, I started playing D&D, as many know, when I was 8 years old. For you, at what age did you start?
18.
18. Yeah, so you were 10 years behind me in all things, so consistent. And how were you introduced to the game?
A bunch of my friends from high school. One of them actually had been playing D&D for quite a long time, like pretty much since he was a kid. So he had been a long time DM, and I'm pretty sure he's kind of the forever DM. But he I didn't really know that he was into D&D until finally, like, I don't even know what the topic we had gotten it on, but like it was revealed, and I was like, "Ooh, I want to play!" So yeah.
No, that's awesome. And can we put up a poll? I'd love to know with everyone that's watching right now when you started playing the game, and let's go in the single digits. The 10s to 20, the 20 to 30, and the 30 to 40 is probably where we can stop. I doubt there are too many that started playing after 40. Also, we have a new favorite viewer. Cosplayed said, "Blue Box, you do not look great. You look marvelous." All right, so that is now my new favorite viewer. Welcome. Thank you so much. I'm teasing. No, you are my favorite. So we'll put up the poll. You gave me a 7, William? What? That's not cool. All right. So I started playing the game, as I said, when I was 7 years old. I'm assuming your 7, Lord Forth, was when you started playing, not your rating of me. I know, I'm teasing. I was just teasing. So I started with AD&D Expert and Basic Edition. And I played in Phoenix, Arizona. I've shared this a few times on my channel, and I had friends in the neighborhood, and I don't honestly know how I even got introduced to it. It just came up, and we all started playing.
Polls up.
The poll is up. I want to see your answers. And we started playing the game at a very early age. I have a fun story I'm going to tell in a minute. Not the story about the minis and the porno mags that you've all heard before. I have a different story to tell tonight.
Oh, but that's such a good story.
I know it is, but many have heard it. If any have not heard it and you really want to hear the story about minis and porno mags, I will tell it. But that's not the story I was talking about tonight. We're going to talk about tools and how to really get your friends in the game. I love the new 5e players that have come into the game, but also your kids. I taught, so my kids were, my eldest daughter was 10, and my middle child, my son, was 7 when I started teaching them to play D&D. Their youngest sibling, who is now 10, while my eldest is 23 and my middle is 20, she started learning to play when she was 5. And so I want to talk about how to teach your kids to play D&D at really, really young ages in a way that they love. And thank you so much for the sub, Evelyn.
It was me.
I know. It was you. All right, so tell us about your experience with the game at an early age and what your thoughts are with teaching your family.
Oh yeah, so I when I started playing 3.5e was out. Which it was really nice actually when I started playing Pathfinder and 3.5 with you, because that felt like coming home again. Like it was like very familiar, and I was like, I know this stuff. But I really enjoyed it, and I remember with in the original game that I played that it was very much stripped down. We played with like notebook graph paper. We didn't have minis. There were not, there was none of that stuff. It was all theater of the mind basically, except for like the specific like areas trying to navigate around dungeons, which our DM drew out on the graph paper.
The graph paper,
but,
yes.
Yeah, but like he would put like little. He actually would use dice to place out where all the monsters were. Because he didn't have, any monster minis or tokens. So he would, because he had lots of dice. So he would set all his dice out and he'd be like, okay, this is where everything is. And then we would set, each of us had a die that that was our character, so that we knew kind of where we were in the space. So it was really stripped down, very theater of the mind. It was a lot of fun. It was very much a very first time experience, but I loved it, and I was sad that it ended, as what things do sometimes, just when life happens and you're going to college and everybody is too busy to do get together anymore.
That blasted life keeps getting in the
way. Right? Yeah, it was great, and I knew that I wanted to get back into it, and so many years later, here we are now. So
well, that's awesome. All right, so lots of chat comments. You were really prompting the chat. Well done, Evelyn. So Nightheart as a first-time chatter, is that possible? I don't think that's right. Nightheart Gaming's been in before. It's a different Nightheart or a sub Nightheart. I don't know, but thank you so much. And we're good to see Kayla with us and Chandler, Mr. Grantler. So many of you. Also, first-time chatter BB543. 12-year-old red and blue box edition. So I've shown those, the basic and the expert. Those were my early games. And I started playing those, as I said, as a very young kid. And yes, every edition can bring something out to players. And I celebrate 5e, even though I don't play it a lot. But I celebrate 5e for bringing more players into the game than any edition has ever brought. It is absolutely blowing up, and I love taking newer players that have been joined to the game via 5e and helping them see other editions and other versions of the game worlds, whether it's Eberron or Mystara or Greyhawk or Dragonlance, and so much fun, like Dark Sun, so many things that they can really enjoy and play into. So with that said, I want to jump in just a few minutes. I'm going to go into what I did with my family. Which started with DFRP S20, also started with free editions of the game, and I'll tell you why. It had to do with the Satanic Panic. And I've talked about this just a little bit. Yeah. We may do a stream on this. I'm still like battling that, as I told you today, Evelyn. But I had nothing. I sold all my books when I was a kid and got rid of them because I thought they were evil. And then I came to my senses as a father and thought, oh my gosh, what has this game taught me? And that's going to be a big topic tonight. What has the game taught you? Why do you play it? So the poll is done, and we have 45% saying they started playing as a kid. Wow, that's awesome. Teenager was 41%. And then 30s and 40s, and interestingly, so the 20s is the lowest number. I would not have expected that. So we have more people that joined in their 30s and 40s than in their 20s. Mm-hmm. You got rid of the neighbor. Well done. That's awesome. All right, so Evelyn, as I said, I want to talk about my game stuff and my kids and my experience, but I really want to start with you, Honey Heist. Speak no evil, say no evil. I forget what.
No, thank you, evil.
No, thank you, evil. That's it. Yes, I knew it. Steve McKissick, a good friend of mine, also has taught that to his kids. Why don't we start with that? And if you're ready, I'll switch over to the OBS Ninja so people can see your screen.
All right. So, I have a 4-year-old who's very interested in tabletop RPGs, and she wants to start playing. And so, one of the things, and we'll go to No Thank You Evil first. One of the things that I've been looking into is a good intro game that isn't a lot of.
Yes, I know it's messed up right now. Everyone,
with.
Don't freak out. I'll fix it. Hang on a second. Sorry, it's my fault, not yours. Go ahead.
You're good. But that is not a lot to deal with mechanically. But can kind of help establish like what is like how to play TTRPGs, getting used to doing something that doesn't have a very strict set of rules, that's a little more freeform. And No Thank You Evil is actually one of the really big ones that I found as a recommendation for littler kids, and it's appropriate for, you know, all the way up. They have rules that make it work for you as you age up, which is really cool. But it's really stripped down, and it's fun, and you can play as like a princess or a scientist or a robot, but it's all in a fantasy setting. So it's those sorts of things that appeal to younger children a lot of times, that you know, help get them, and like they deal with situations that are more kid-based. So if people are a little concerned about the themes of you know, more traditional fantasy games, there's that as well. But I just find that it's a really great intro to D&D from what I've seen of it, and it's something that I'm looking at getting for my 4-year-old, so that we can first come into it. And we also have, and I didn't pull up a thing for this, but we actually also have the because she is a giant My Little Pony fan, but we do have the My Little Pony Friendship is Magic.
I'm sorry, My Little Pony cannot be mentioned on my stream, so kill that. It's right there with dinosaurs. It's
TTRPG, and it is fantasy based, and all of the ponies have actual Dungeons and Dragons classes that they play. It's all stripped down and simplified.
I just feel like I'm being judged by the ever mysterious Tim right now. I think he's gonna hate me for that.
He can judge me, I don't care. It's not on you. But No Thank You Evil is definitely more like, very much more like you play as a class, you know, you roll your dice, but it is definitly simplified down, and you kind of look at it for everything, and there's a lot of like prompts as well that help them to develop their imagination skills through it, and that's one of the best things I think about TTRPGs and Dungeons and Dragons in particular, is because it does so much to teach us how to be good storytellers, to teach us how to use our imaginations, to do things that, you know, it just helps us develop our mind and keep it being creative. And that's you know, one of the things that I just find so appealing, because if we're able to tell stories together, it makes us better able to tell our own stories as humans in our day-to-day life. But so like it's a really cute little site, and you can get the game through lots of different places. Actually, a couple of our friendly local game stores here in Nashville carry No Thank You Evil, but you can also get it on the internet. They have it
available on Amazon. Yep.
And stuff. Yep. But yeah, it's really great, and that's definitely one that we are looking at for her.
Yeah, that's awesome. Go ahead, continue.
And then I was going to say, and on the flip side, okay, so I've brought us now to Grant Howitt's website. He is the creator of Honey Heist. He is the creator of tons and tons of single page one shots, which are all here. You can click them. You can donate anything you want to get them. You don't have to donate anything. They are free to use. But he's got tons and tons of games, and Honey Heist is one of them. I ran Honey Heist as my very first,
which you refused to stream.
Oh well, I had my Zoom and like a computer crash in the middle of that because that was on my old computer. So it's probably better that I didn't stream that one. But I ran Honey Heist with the boys from Tuesday night with Josh and Terry and Rory, actually, as my very first DMing experience, which was an experience that I learned a lot from. But it's a really fun game. It's a single page, and you have it's all D6 based. So you can, like, even if you don't have all the fancy click clacks, if you have a board game somewhere in your house that has dice in it, you're gonna be able to play Honey Heist. And it's such a fun game. And you know, he started working on collections and longer form one shots, but these are so good. For new players, because it's a really easy introduction. The rules are simple. The rules are simple. They don't have to have a lot of extra things, and it's one of those things that you can just say, hey, do you want to play a game with, you know, that's a TTRPG, and if they're kind of worried about it, be like, oh, it's, you know, and max it takes about a couple hours for most of these games. They're kind of designed to only be that long. And it's a great way for somebody who might be wary about getting into it to actually try it out and see what it's like. And it's great for a newbie DM because it's simple and it's easy to explain and you can go through it all. So
all right,
I'm a big fan.
So Diner Dude asked for the link, so you
yes, I can pop that in
the
there.
Chat. And also, we need to tell our Nightbot to chill. It is still going overtime right now in the chat, which you and I talked about, but we'll get that fixed. So, let me tell a different D&D story than my porno mini story. So I've been playing D&D, as I said, from age 8. By the time I was 12, I was competing in what were called Sir Optimist public speaking events in my middle school. And I'll never forget, it was my first... the topic was my responsibility involvement. This was during the Reagan era. It was covered with a lot of concerns about nuclear warfare and all the things that were happening in our world. And so I had a speech. And I went to a Sir Optimists Club event after passing through my own local class. And they asked me about my hobbies, which caught me off guard. And I was standing in front of this panel of, like, I was 12. These were all middle-aged, kind of like, look like me, now maybe a little older people. And they said, what is Dungeons and Dragons? And they'd never heard of it. And I said, what? Yeah, I said, I think, I'm paraphrasing maybe a bit, but it's very close. I said, it's a role-playing game in which you inhabit the personality of a character. And as you play this character and you truly bring life to it, your fate is determined by the roll of dice. And this old dude, heavy set, big gut, looked up at me and he literally said, sounds like when I go to Vegas. And that was my early experience with D&D, having Boomer tell me that role-playing sounded like going to Vegas. But I agree with everything that you said. Your thing just kind of went blank there, but that's okay. I'll pop up to another one. I wanted to show this. You're looking at a screen now for Level 1 Geek. How about not basic D&D? A recall? No, that's exactly what I was going to say. I started teaching my family to play the game with old school D&D. I'm not against Honey Heist. I'm not against anything like, you know, speak no evil, say no evil, hear no evil, whatever it is. But I went and I got this original DR20 PF, this stuff right here you're looking at, all the classes, and yes, I dumbed it down for my kids. I made it so easy for them. My wife had never played in her life. When you go back to Satanic Panic, she had a Baptist pastor, has a Baptist pastor for a father, and was taught that D&D was evil, and she had never played it. And it was when my kids were around 6 and 9, as I said, that I thought, wait a minute, what has that game given to me? So much of my my career, my interest in literature, my vocabulary, my desire to just be creative came from D&D. And I thought, John, no, you're wrong. You're wrong. Stop. You need to teach this to your kids. And so I pulled up all this DRFP 20 stuff and I started teaching my kids the basics of D&D. And yes, the original Holmes D&D set, 1977, then followed by the rule books and the expert edition. Let me zoom out on this just a little bit more so you can see it better. You've got all this available for free on the internet. And you've got very easy modules and whatnot. And yes, I get the idea that you want to make it easier for young players, My Little Pony and whatnot. But I don't think it's that hard to teach them the basics of D&D. And I love this level 1 geek. I don't know them. I've never talked to them. This is just something I found on the internet I've heard about them before, but I searched it out today. And so if they have something controversial on here, I'm not endorsing it. But just what I found, I love what they said because it really mirrored many of my thoughts for the game. The benefits: empathy, tolerance, problem solving, teamwork, yes, absolutely, leadership, sharing, critical thinking, communication, creativity, vocabulary. Like I learned so much from this game as a young person. Why would you not teach this to your kids? And also to the people like Chandler, Grantler, these poor Gen Zers who have been so inoculated from any true learning that they really need us Gen Xers to teach them something. No, I'm sorry. You get the point. So I think the game can help kids explore all facets. This was something that really made a difference in my life. So I'm going to give you an example of what I did with my own daughter, things I do with my kids. But I'm going to back up for a second and turn it back over to Evelyn. Evelyn, your thoughts on these comments, how to run kids, D&D adventures. Is it really important to have a honey heist or a speak, see, say, think, no evil?
No, thank you, evil. No, thank you.
Or like, can you not do it with simple pre-made characters in the basic D&D editions?
Well, I mean, I think you definitely can. I just think that like having other options as well it's great. Like and the fact that D&D has become so prevalent that these options are available. The things that might be interesting to different kids, and you're still going through a lot of the same things. A lot of times it just simplifies the math down a lot, and there takes away a lot of the skills and feats and things that adds just complexity to it that they can pick up pretty quickly once they're ready for that. And building a D&D character simply like that is totally possible, and I see nothing wrong with doing that at all. I think it's really cool that these other places, starting points are there.
The gateway drugs.
Yeah, exactly. Get the kids in. But just in general, finding maybe ways that a more reticent child might be. That might be more appealing to them as children too.
No,
I mean, because every kid has their own thing that they're into. So
no, I think that's a really so I think that's the first point here on prepping an adventure. If you're looking up on the screen, if possible, ask the child what kind of adventure they're interested in, because not every child is the same. So kids that are born into the Blue Box home, yes, they are ready for dragons and Lord of the Rings, and my 6-year-old daughter was ready to fell foul beasts. But that may not be the case with your kids or your home. So ask them what they want to do. The idea is to get them into role play. If they like Marvel superheroes, we talked about this a lot in our Discord recently. If they like Star Trek or Star Wars or My Little Pony, find a role-playing topic that is of interest to them. But I think you can quickly use that gateway drug to get them to the hard stuff with true D&D. So we had some great chat. Yes, wonderful benefits. Triple Eight, you're exactly right. These benefits are real. They've happened in many of our lives. Vocabulary alone, as Robert said, I learned so much. I read books I would have never read otherwise.
I mean, Josh learned the word puissance from our Tuesday night game.
That's probably not good. But I mean, like, I've had people tease me on our Discord that they get the word of the week from Blue Box. This all came from books and novels and gaming, and like I loved it so much. I learned, like, I'm always trying to learn new words. I think it's so much fun. And so this is something that your kids or your friends, your Gen Zers who know only Neeb and Loot and Noob and Leet and ya and all that, they can learn. They can learn real words. I'm sorry, I'm just pissing off all my Gen Z fans. I'm just having fun. Don't get me mad, Chandler. I'm sorry. So pre-made characters that help them get straight to playing. That's a great tip. Microform said, can attest to all the... Yeah, exactly. Don't forget the bonds. Yeah, oh, no, so well said, Patrick. I have friends still today that I played with as a kid. And look at Jay's stream. Jay has people he's been playing with for longer than many of you have been alive on my stream tonight. And that's so cool. So it's better than a fraternity. It's absolutely awesome. So setting ground rules. Established rules for D&D etiquette, table manners. So don't talk or be distracted. These are kind of basics of D&D. Agree on the be quiet, take turns. So you teach sort of basic etiquette to your kids as well, which is a great way. And then they say here G-rated. And yes, I do that with my 10-year-old. And then as my kids got to be 13-ish, I went to PG. And as they got to the sort of 16, 17, I went to PG-13. I don't do any X. I really don't do any R. But I do raise the level of it with the kids where it maintains a sense of relevance to them. Because if I'm still teaching My Little Pony to my 17-year-old son, it's not working.
No. Yes, no stealing from party members.
Exactly. Except if you do it to Tim. You can steal from Tim. That's always fair game. And I think, of course, make it fun. Oftentimes, and this is different, the crazier, the sillier the scenario, the better. And I think that's true for kids. When I'm playing with my 30 and 40-year-old somethings, there's a lot of seriousness. There's some silliness too. But I think when you're playing with your kids, keep it magical, keep it silly, keep it fun and lighthearted. So I did a one-shot with my daughter, and I'm going to talk about that in just a moment. But before I jump into that, Evelyn, anything you see in the chat that you wanted to mention or any follow? Hey, Moose, good to see you as well. Sorry I didn't see you. Weirdo, good to see you too, my friend. All day long. Yeah, Tim needs the attitude. He absolutely does.
Have you seen our one shots?
Yeah.
Yeah, there has been some silliness in our one shots.
Silliness should always be silliness should be a part of the game. It just shouldn't be all of the game unless there are 9.
Yeah, that's the only thing I saw in the...
Kill them off quickly. Yeah, that's a good answer. I can see that, William. Maybe you kill them off quickly. And then they hang up their dice and they walk out and they go play Nintendo.
Right? Let's get them away from the screens. Away from the screens.
Wow, what a good point. Yes, get them away from the frickin' screens. It's good for kids. Here's several modules. The Ogre and His Cake. Clonker's Guide to Being a Hero. Truly, Madly, Deeply Love Zero to Hero, First Adventure. So here are all very silly, fun module links. And then here are other, no, thank you, evil, say no to evil, hate you, evil, Starport, Golden Side Stories. You have, of course, the Honey Heist, all these options. Give your kids the opportunity to role play. And I don't think there is an age that's too early. I think when they can talk, they can role play. Paper and pencil when possible. Exactly. Now, again, my kids love the minis and the terrain. So when I pop up the terrain here for them, they really enjoy seeing what we have on the table. But they also like Tailspire. They like Theater of Mind. The main thing is just to make them heroes. Kids want to be heroes. And that's a big part of the game, too, because adults want to be heroes. But you don't give them everything they want so quickly in the way you give it to kids. So, Evelyn, anything you see in the chat you want to talk about? Stabby. Yeah, of course, Robert, always.
No, I don't see anything additionally that.
Okay, so she just said all the chatters are sucking tonight. None of you have anything interesting to say.
They're talking about great stuff. Samik. No one likes a quitter. Yeah.
Okay, so I do a couple of things. One, I do something called my 5D night. Now, I'm glad Josh and Lilith are not in tonight because they would do something very different with 5D than what I intend. It is Daddy, Daughter, Dungeons, Dragons Date. And so I have done this for a couple of years now. I bring my 10-year-old down here into my game room. She has a character that she's created. I helped her with it. Of course, you walk them through it. You don't say, hey, figure out your character, your class, and your abilities, and your feats, and your skills, and you'll blow them away. But you walk them through it. Part of Hasbro. Yeah, exactly. So I bring her down, and we play a game. And we did this last month. And she has this little ranger character with an owl. I think she was inspired by Lilith. And she escaped out of her room late at night. Very simple adventure. There were goblins outside. She could hear them. She scaled up a tree. In the tree, she saw the goblins rush. They took a couple of chickens from the yard. And then she dropped down with her little arrows and she popped a goblin. And then we had a cliffhanger at the end. And it was glorious for her, even though it was a little more serious in the sense that, she was escaping from a window of her parents' house and there were goblins outside. They weren't ponies and it wasn't. But it was still simple enough for her. She relished it. She loved it. She talked about it for days. So I would say whether it's No Thank You Evil or whether it's Honey Heist or whether it's basic D&D, if you have kids, get them involved in the game. Dads, moms and dads, non-binaries. I'm not trying to be that. Just whatever. Get your kids involved in playing the game. Make a simple scenario for them. Help them build a character, and they will love you for it. It is a fantastic way to spend the night with a kid or a couple of kids or 3 kids. Bring mom down or dad down or whatever down and play the game with your kids. You will teach them all of these benefits: communication, vocabulary, teamwork, imagination, learning how to create role play scenarios with them. It is a fantastic way to really introduce something to your. Now I'm going to tell another story in a second, which I want to be my final story of the night with my family. But I'm going to come back to you, Evelyn, now, because I'm sure you've seen some things and you have some thoughts. So go ahead. Don't do that to me. When you purse those lips, I know.
I was listening.
I mesmerize you with my. I
enjoy the stories. What can I say?
Yeah, great inspiration. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, and not only your kids though.
Learning how to kill players.
You get your friends interested too. I mean, had I not known, at 18, had I not known that my friend played D&D, that he was a dungeon master and that was something that he enjoyed, I would have never really known about it because I hadn't heard about it. A lot of my friends didn't do that, and so you never know who might be interested. So talk to your friends, tell them all about it. I mean, a lot of us can't help telling all our friends about it, but
no, it's so true. It's so true.
But you never know who might actually be looking for something like that or be interested, and being able to share these things with our friends and get them in, and being so willing to be the person to help teach them if they are interested. Be enthusiastic about their interest. Show them that their interest matters to you, and that and you're gonna always get them to check it out. And that's awesome.
No, well said. And so I have a plan. I want to DM a kids only game as a one-shot here on Blue Box in the next couple of months. I want to figure out, I'm thinking my daughter, maybe your daughter. We got a few others that have young kids, Skylar maybe from Rory, I don't know who else, and do a kids only one-shot. And awesome. I think that would be so much fun. So if you have a kid that let's say is below, let's do 15 and younger. I don't want to do 16 or older. I might do a separate thing for that. But if you have a kid that's 15 or younger and you think they would like to play some D&D with Blue Box, and would be willing to have them on stream. Of course, there would be nothing exploitive, nothing strange. I do some innuendo sometimes with my older games. I would not do anything with that with the kids game, and it would be fun to have them. I think that would be really cool. I've not seen that. Maybe others have done it, but I haven't seen it on Twitch. I haven't seen anyone stream a game with young kids, teaching them to play D&D, and I think that would be a blast. So let me know in my Discord if you're interested. Yes, Moose is a Canadian, Patrick. That's right. Yes, Josh,
No.
it would be. No, you are not a kid. 888 lie. Yes. So pizzas, Mountain Dews, Doritos. These are the life force of D&D players.
Indeed. Well stocked full of pizza and soda. Back when I first was playing, I remember it because we would play for, I don't know, like 10 hours at a time. Like it would be, you get there Saturday, afternoon, and we play through until the wee hours of the morning and then go home.
It shames me that I no longer have this constitution. I cannot play for 10 to 12 hours. I come off
Fun fact, your constitution score goes down as you get older.
Wisdom goes up. My strength is still going up, but my constitution is going down. It's so true. It's so true. The younglings now like the fringe. Code Red. Oh, okay. So like imposter. That stuff is not role play. Teach them the real role play games. Get them away from the phones and the screens, unless the screens are 4K monitors showing them cool video. But no, get them into the game. Grandma's cookies. Yes, Grandma. Or like Chips Ahoy. Or you had the soft batch. Oh, soft batch. You remember those?
So good.
Yeah, the soft batch were awesome. We should do a snacks of D&D stream. That might be a fun element.
I don't know if you remember this, but I always had, before we started streaming and we could snack during the entire stream, I always brought peanut butter M&Ms with me to their games.
Why? So yeah, it's not good to do that. All right. So let's move on.
No, we're streaming.
All right. So I want to look in the chat. Let's see. Let's do another poll. Let's ask how many of you have already played a D&D game with your child under the age of 16. I'm really curious. Under the age of 16, and just do a simple yes/no binary poll. I'm curious. You went to high school where? Meckle Form. You went to high school. No kids. Weird. Okay. All right. Oh, no. Hey, no. Oh, so no. Oh my gosh. I wasn't trying to do that. I'm sorry. No, I guess that I know some of you don't have kids as well. That's fine. I'm just asking those that do. And then I want to flip the script and talk about friends that you've gotten involved in D&D. Maybe you've got coworkers. Evelyn, my first streamed game was with who?
Let's see, everybody from your old workplace, basically, and Jordan, and me, because I wasn't from there. I was just...
Exactly. and specifically, they were my development team, right? Yep. So if any of you manage a software development team, if you run a company that has a software development team or an IT team, rest assured, you likely have D&D players waiting in the wings.
Find your nerds, because they're going to be the ones that want to play.
And that was kind of my coming out party, because I've for most of my life, I hid the fact that I played D&D only to a select few. And it was only there at that previous company with your husband and his boss, who was my employee, and Chris Carson and Dan, all of them. That's where I really said, hey, I play a game, I stream it. Would you like to play? You don't know, especially in today's world where you have Lord of the Rings, The Witcher, Harry Potter, Stranger Things, so many social influences now that are making this game much more accepted. Hasbro, I'm not a fan, but actually I'm a fan because they have really created a mainstream version of D&D with 5e that is growing this community. All right, so I'm looking here in the chat.
Being proud. Yes, be proud of your nerdiness.
Yeah, I am now. I hid it for
Wave
many
that
years.
flag high.
So I got to be honest. I did. I hid it for many years. But I got proud of it a few years ago and just started waving that flag high. And so if you were waving it high, I was still playing. I still had friends in high school and whatnot. Like I wasn't a total no, but I did hide it, and I no longer hide. I'm out of the closet with my nerdiness.
Embrace it.
All right, how to answer play with some of my kids? Just say yes. Yeah, just some of your kids.
That counts as a yes.
John, if you run an open child one shot, that's awesome. I'd love to. And yeah, like I will make it so fun for them and easy for them. This will be I would want every parent to be watching. I'm not trying to covertly get some of your kids to be on the stream with me. Like I would want every parent watching. It'll be a great time. It'll be a blast of just teaching the old school fun of the game, and they will love it. I won't even kill them the way I kill my own players. PCs,
by the way.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see here. 1989, Vance and Mike. Oh, that's very cool.
So the answer to the poll was 64% yes, 36% no.
Okay. All right. So no problem at all. That makes a lot of sense because I know some of you don't have kids, or maybe some of your kids are too young, or maybe you just haven't really gotten there with your family. That's okay. Now, I want to ask you a separate question. How many of you have introduced a new player to the game, not one of your family? So a new player to the game outside your family. If you've done that, I want to pop that in, because that's really what I'm also talking about tonight, is teaching, whether it's a Gen Zer, a Gen Xer, or heck, you find an old, millennial, whatever, that's never played, and you've brought them into the game. You've taught someone who just knew 5e that there's more to the game than... Okay, I'm going to stop myself there because I'm going to say something deprecating, and I won't do that. But there's more to the game, and you've taught them that. Yes, several. Okay. Dingbat. Very nice.
Poll is up.
All right, so the new poll, I want to see this one. I love the feedback we're getting. The joy for DM, I keep finding people. Oh, that's awesome, right? I know you do, Robert, and that's the same thing I'm doing. A couple, yes, good, Manda. To role-playing, of course. And we've had a really fun chat in our Discord about old-school role-playing games, everything from Shadowrun to Rune Lords to MERP to Star Trek to James Bond 007, Aftermath, all these old-school role-playing games that were so much fun. No, I did not teach anyone role-playing in the Jurassic area, Steve. You are now on my list, my friend. Oh yeah, we'll drop the Discord again.
There you go.
There you go, right there, Ragnar. And there's all kinds of fun chat that happens in there, and we're gonna switch over and raid Jay here in just a few minutes. But I want to tell the story. I love these old school modules. You got the original blue box, the red box, and then of course you have the purple box, which is the expert edition. So much fun to see all these old school books. And these are easy to teach kids. All right, so as I said a moment ago, Evelyn, I'm sorry, do you want to say something? Go ahead.
I was going to say, I can talk about my getting a person into D&D.
Do that first, and then I'll close with my story. Yeah.
Okay, so it was actually my older brother, and I actually got him into D&D because, A, he didn't realize I played at the time, but I got him into it because, actually... of Critical Role, because I was watching it and he started watching, and because I liked it, and then he wanted to talk about it, and then he wanted to talk about playing it. And every year for our family Christmas get together, we do a white elephant exchange thing.
What is that?
A couple years ago, it's where you everybody brings a gift that's under $15.
Oh, it's like a Dirty Santa type thing?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Right,
it's white elephant's another name for it.
Okay.
And I brought the starter box kit for D&D as my one, and he fought to get it because now he's running a game with my nephew. So I got my older brother and my nephew into D&D.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And you're working on Esther. Esther is going to be a great role player. I know she cannot grow up in that home and not be a great role player. Stranger Things edition. Yeah, so the red box came back out. So this what you see on the left here came back out with the Stranger Things edition, which I thought was cool. And I love Stranger Things. It's a fun show. The Witcher. We got the new Lord of the Rings show coming up on Amazon, which is based on Tolkien's earlier lore. So we're going back to Morgoth. And
yes, Valinor. There was a Valinor. Did you see?
I did. I saw it. I'm so excited. We got. It's not D&D, but I'm so excited. There's a new Dune movie coming out. I love Frank Herbert's Dune. I reread the book earlier this year. It is just a great time to be a geek. There is geek loveliness happening everywhere. Get your friends involved. Evangelize to the world. It is good to be a geek. All right, sorry. I lost my...
So the poll finished, and the yes ratio of introducing new people
Very
was
nice.
89% to 11%. So that means we are bringing all the people in.
Oh my gosh. Go and do that likewise. Also, Patrick, Ancient Gamer, another gift sub. He's given 155 gift subs on our channel. I just cannot say enough. Also, we just did a giveaway last night. This is going out to one of our brand new viewers. This version of Chainmail was given away last night. This came from Ancient Gamer. Patrick is such a patron of all of the old school channels and all the people that are really teaching people about D&D. Keith, congratulations. You got your red box from the Sears catalog. That's all. Many people don't know what Sears is anymore. Dune,
Sound went really quiet.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, Mitch, you got it right. Okay. All right. So as we finish up here, you've got Say No to Evil. You've got Honey Heist. You got AD&D Basics. You've got the PFR PS20D. I always get it wrong, whatever that is. You got so many free resources out there. Teach your family to play the game. Share it with your kids. Thank you so much, Robert, for a gifted sub.
Chat is saying that the sound got quiet.
Which me, you, all of us?
I think overall sound got quiet.
No, it was just your sound.
Okay.
888, he said. Audio faded.
Because
Mitch said it never changed for him. All right.
I don't know.
So we'll call this Twitch weirdness. I don't think there's anything. The people got quieter. My sound faded too. Sound over is all quiet. If it wasn't just us, how about now? All good now. For us to, but okay, yeah, but now it's all good or no? Let me check my. Hang on here. Let me look at my. Test. Yeah, it looks really good on Slobs. Everything looks good on my end. Evelyn, you're hearing me. It's quiet here. What the heck? All right.
Our sound levels between the various overlay scenes is different.
But they're, well, hold on. I mean, we've been on this one for a minute. I'm watching the... So we'll go back to this one for a second. This is yours. Can you bring up something on your Ninja just so...
Yeah, let me pull up my...
Ragnar said it's good on his end.
At max volume, I can barely hear this. The overlays are loud. What?
There is no overlay. Testing 1, 2, 3. You all want to hear me. My story is going to be great. I don't want to be faded. Please listen. Hasn't changed for you all stream. I don't know what's... Okay,
I don't know.
We're going to call this Twitch weirdness.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing anything changing on my end. I don't think it's a Blue Box issue. All right. Still low audio live streams. Sounds great for you, Iculus. Sounds fine to you, Moose. Losing sound with the gifting sub Sounder. Still quite... So, aliens... All right. So, we're going to continue on. All right. As I said, I started teaching my kids to play. Jordan, my son, was 6. Alexis, my daughter, was 9. My youngest was not born yet, Avonlea. And I started them in the Lord of the Rings world. They had a game world. It was Mom's first time playing. All right, so there we have an alert box firing off. Did that make us sound quieter as that was happening? Maybe that was the issue. Thank you very much, by the way, Moose. Or again, Patrick, for the gift sub to Moose. Sounds like everything's still good to me. Yep. All right. So I started teaching them the game. I brought them into the Lord of the Rings campaign. It was a totally custom. All right, Robert's really trying to test me now to see if this is messing with. Thank you, Robert, for all the gift subs, my friend. And we played that game for, let me see here, 9 years. Until my eldest daughter was headed off to college.
Wow.
And it's louder than the voices, but can you hear us? Because it doesn't look loud to me, but I'll drop that here. Hold on. Alert box. Right here. I'm going to make you quieter, alert box. There you go. You're punished.
Calm down, alert box.
You are
Calm
calm down. All right, you can still hear me. Thank you, Chris. And it was an epic campaign. My kids learned to play. My wife learned to play. I guided them through it. My wife tried to play a paladin. She was the worst paladin ever. It was so bad. She was a cowardly paladin. She lost her paladinhood. My son, I think, was the most into it. He played a dwarf named Sledge, whose last name was Hammer. That's what you let your 6-year-old do, right? When he starts the game.
You know, if they're going to name their characters, you got to let them name their characters.
Exactly. And Sledgehammer is an awesome name for a dwarf when you're 6 years old. Yeah, exactly.
I dig it.
It
establishes a level of expectation before you even meet him.
Exactly. My 9-year-old daughter, she had a character. Oh, thank you, 888. Hey, Patrick, stop it, dude. Thank you so much. My daughter, her first character died. She was dancing along a rooftop, and she fumbled on her check. She plummeted to the ground as a second-level character and was slain. So you teach your kids about death very early on. She was 9. It was okay.
Your actions have consequences.
Exactly.
And they're really intense.
Exactly. So her first character died. But then they went on this epic campaign that went over month and month and year and year and year. And I brought it to a conclusion. And some of you know this, but others don't. Yeah, teach them to stay off the roof. Exactly. Don't be on the roof, kids. You'll die. That's exactly what happened to her. Now I've got my own giggle fit. That's so true. Hey, Mike Disney, good to see you. The ultimate moment for me. It all worked out well together. And as my eldest was about to go off to college, she went to Lipscomb, which is a university here in Nashville. She's 23 now, so this was 5 years ago, as she was getting ready to leave for college. Before I had this game room, this was all open. It was a tile, unfinished basement down here 5-6 years ago with her. And I had some Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, sort of that really dramatic music playing in the background. And we had the final episode, and they faced the BBEG. Mom was calcified into statue, turned to stone. Jordan, now by this point he was 14, 15. He became the Lord of the Dwarven Kingdoms, Moradin's servant, and my daughter, her character was the heroine of the entire story. As this played, and we knew she was leaving for college the next day, there were tears wept all around the room. The story reached its conclusion. The family had had hour after hour after hour after hour, I would guess, 150, 200 hours of gameplay, maybe more, over those years. All the countless stories, all the connectedness, game nights for our family, vocabulary, leadership, communication, teamwork, all the benefits that we talked about earlier. It came to a conclusion that night. And as we all wept and we hugged, we gathered around the table. It's one of the most memorable moments of my life as a father And that's a pretty personal story, but I wanted to share it with you because you can share this with your friends, you can share this with your family, and you can make these great stories. This game, the game of wonder, can do more for you than any screen, than any board game, than anything else you can do. And that's what I wanted to end with. Evelyn, as always, I like to fumble this awkward transition to you as I'm trying to gather myself emotionally because I'm just remembering that night. It was one of the best nights of my family, and I want everyone to enjoy that.
I would say, I think, compared to any other game I've ever played, when I've reached the end, there's not many games that I've gotten to the end of that I felt so connected to and sad about the ending as I have with D&D.
Yeah.
Because this is an epic adventure that you and your friends who have gone together on this together, you fought through it all. It's, a tough journey through it all. And other than some of the most well-written stories that I've ever played these games, they're usually games that are more story-based than fighting-based games that that I've had any emotional connection to. None of them compare to D&D. None of them.
Yeah. No, well said, Evelyn. As I've often said, it's the game of ever-present wonder. It's the story that never gets old. It's something that you can play for 30, 40, 50, 60 years, 70 years, and never grow tired of it. We have Ed Greenwood, who's been popping onto Jay's channel lately, and these are the original progenitors of the game. And they still love playing this game. You owe it to your friends. Nay, it is your social obligation to them. If you are not teaching this to your children, you are failing your progeny. You must bring them this glorious game. You must teach them to roleplay, to imagine, to dream, to fight the noble foe, the evil foe, to fight the noble fight. That's what I meant. You must teach them that. And that's all we wanted to say tonight.
Onward to battle!
Onward to battle! So we've got several of you that are chatting. I know some of you, but I don't know half as well of you, half as many of you as well as I should. And I don't like half as many of you as much ought to. Whatever Bilbo said.
Yes.
John's on a rant. I am on a rant. Yes. So please, if you're not already in our Discord, that's where I can connect with you and get to know you. I would love to get many of you in the Discord. Get to know you better. I want to do some stuff with our families. As I said, I want to do a family stream with kids that are under 15. And I want to have all of you just enjoy being part of this great community. We got so many folks. Lord Gazumba, the ever mysterious Tim. We have Praetor's Rejects. We have Machikid, Terry. We have Robert, Phantom NJ, Time Lord's wife, Kayla. We have such great D&D streaming. I'm sure I forgot 3 or 4, but this is a community that you can be part of and really have a fantastic time of imagination, storytelling, and the ever wondrous huzzah of D&D. A constant asking if it is an African or a European swallow, and whether it's laden or unladen, references to shrubbery, and every other cool, old school, fun D&D thing. All right, so I'm going to get ready to raid Jay. As I get ready to raid Jay, Evelyn, do you have any final thoughts?
And
by the way, your last final thoughts were awesome, so you don't need any more if you don't have them. It's okay.
My other final thoughts is, more people need to play D&D. Okay, thanks, bye.
More people need to play D&D. Okay, thanks, bye. And Jay is up. As we go to raid Jay, I want to say thank you. By the way, if you're watching tonight and you haven't followed, or if you're a follower and you have not subbed,
what?
Or if you're a sub, I don't know. It's odd. It happens occasionally. Not the good people, just the fringe people sometimes. Or if you're a sub whose sub is expired and you have not resubbed, we have one question for you tonight. What are you doing? Give us a follow. Give us a sub. Spread the love. The community is growing. D&D. Join us at BlueBoxRPG. as we raid Lord Gazumba, my close friend, ally in crime, raiding now.